Hello, dear friends. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Have you ever been to the zoo? Let's see what kind of animals we can see at the zoo.
Many animals are at the zoo, at the zoo, at the zoo. Lots of animals at the zoo are waiting for you. There are mammals of all kinds, tigers, bears, and giraffes. There are reptiles and insects too, lizards, snakes, and spiders. Do not forget all the birds, the penguins and the peacocks. Many animals are at the zoo, at the zoo, at the zoo. Many animals at the zoo are waiting for you.
Yesterday, Osama and Rose went to the zoo together. Which animals do you think are their favorites? Post them in the comment box and follow us to find the answer. Hello, hello. Did you post your guesses? Let's see if your answers were correct.
Osama and Rose at the zoo.
Osama and Rose went to the zoo. They were very excited. They had not seen wild animals before. They saw many animals from different animal groups. They saw reptiles like a giant snake and a giant lizard. They were covered with scales. They also saw mammals, a wolf, a lion, and a monkey. Finally, they reached their favorite animals. First was the peacock. It was beautiful, covered with colorful feathers, and Rose was impressed.
Why doesn't it open its beautiful tail?
Rose wondered. Next, they reached the wolves, Osama's favorite. It had such beautiful gray fur, but was so thin. The concerned zookeepers were trying to feed it, but it wouldn't eat.
Why isn't the wolf eating or even howling?
Osama wondered. When Osama and Rose went home, he was really worried. He read about wolves' behaviors. He found out that wolves live in packs. He realized that the wolf was lonely. So he called Rose and told her what he had found out.
Perhaps that is why the peacock was upset too. They must have feelings just like us.
Rose said. That night, the children learned an important lesson. They learned that animals had feelings too and that they should not be separated from their families.
I am very sure that you watched the video carefully. Now, I will ask you some questions. Can you post your answers? I will ask all the questions at once, so you can post them in one comment box. And after that, I'll give you all the correct answers. Let's start. Which animal is Osama's favorite? The wolf, the peacock, or the lion? Post your answer and let's move on. Which animal is Rose's favorite? The wolf, the peacock, or the monkey? Number 3. What are mammals covered with? Feather, scales, or fur? Number 4. What are reptiles covered with? Feather, scales, or fur? Number 5. How do we know that the peacock and the wolf were unhappy? They both were not eating. The wolf didn't open its tail and the peacock didn't howl. The wolf didn't howl and the peacock didn't open its tail. And the last question, what is the theme or lesson of the story? A, we should not separate animals from their families. B, we should visit the zoo often. C, we learned that zoos are full of animals. The theme is like a moral lesson we learn from a story. It teaches us what is right and what is wrong, what we should do and what we should not do. Did you post your answers? Now, let's find the correct answers. Which animal is Osama's favorite? The correct answer is the wolf. Correct. Which animal is Rose's favorite? The correct answer is the peacock. The third question, what are mammals covered with? Mammals are covered with fur. What are reptiles covered with? The correct answer is scales. And how do we know that the peacock and the wolf were unhappy? The correct answer is C. The wolf didn't howl and the peacock didn't open its tail. Finally, what is the theme of the story? The theme is we should not separate animals from their families. Now that we have covered the moral part of the lesson, let's move on to details. Before we do that, we're going to play a matching game. How are these words described in the text? Lizards, fur, peacock, children, animals. In the other column, we have the words beautiful, excited, wild, giant, and gray. How are lizards described in the text? D, the giant lizards. That's correct. What about the word fur? Gray fur. Very good. What about the word peacock? How is peacock described in the text? Beautiful peacock. Children? The excited children. What about the wild animals? Very good. The wild animals. What do we use the words in the first column for? An animal named a lizard and another one named a peacock. Then we have words like children that names people and the word animals which refers to animals in general. Well, we are using words in column 1 to name people, animals, and things. Fur is a thing. They are nouns. They name things, sometimes specific, sometimes general. What about the second group? What does the word giant do? The word giant describes the animal. It gives information about it. It tells us how big the lizard is. So we use words in column 2 to describe animals, people, places, or things around us. We call them adjectives. Adjectives show the shape of things. Adjectives show the size of things. Adjectives also show the color of things. They show the quality of things like beautiful, smart, interesting, expensive, cheap, fresh, old, and new. And they also show numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now that we know what adjectives are, let's see how we use them. Let's find some examples from our text. Osama and Rose at the zoo. Osama and Rose went to the zoo. Do we have any adjectives here? No, we don't. They were very excited. Do we have an adjective here in this sentence? Yes, we do. The adjective is excited. What does excited describe? It describes they, which refers to Osama and Rose. Where do we have the adjective? We have it after were, and were is verb to be in the simple past tense. Let's move on to the other sentence. They had not seen wild animals before. Do we have an adjective here? Yes, the adjective is wild. What does while describe? It describes animals. Where does the adjective come? It comes before the noun animals. So, we can use adjectives in two ways. After verb to be, to describe how someone or something feels or looks, or before nouns to describe the nouns themselves. All right, folks, let's revise what we learned today. We learned about the theme of the story, the moral lesson we learned from a story, like what is wrong and what is right. We also learned about adjectives, adjectives that come before a noun or after verb to be. I hope you enjoyed the lesson and learned a lot of things. I will see you next time. Till then, be good and stay safe. Bye-bye.
لمشاهدة المزيد من الحلقات زوروا سات 7 بلس.